Hello everyone, you're welcome to Delaroy Studios. This is another episode of Android programming. We'll be talking about the Google Analytics SDK, how to integrate a Google Analytics into an Android application, an already made Android application. So we'll be talking about an application which is basically talking about the pets, cats and dogs. So it's going to like check a random selection on which type of pets do you like most. So it's going to like pick up the data and gets the click from each selection that is being made by the user. So the user enters basic demographic information and ranks pets images by cuteness, by the way he feels that there's the best pet that suits him, and the app sends corresponding analytics hit. Okay, all right. So this is the kind of application we'll be integrating the Google Analytics SDK into. So I'll be moving straight to my Android Studio, which is the development environment for Android, and the development environment for this particular application. Okay, I'll be taking you down the processes of how this application is being built, and most especially how to integrate the Google Analytics SDK into your application. Okay, I'll be looking straight at the build.gradle, which is the and we'll talk about the dependencies. We're talking about the Android GMS Google Play service, okay, the 8.4.0 version, and also the support app compared version 7, which is 23.3.0. Okay, these are the major dependencies for this application, and the minimum SDK version is 9, while the target SDK version is 23. That's what is being targeted. Okay, let's look at layout files where we talk about different XML modes. Okay, we'll first of all look at the activity underscore main.xml. This is a relative layout whereby the layout with an height is matching the parent. Okay, we have the padding left, calling on the dimension folder, based on the activity horizontal margin, and the same thing goes to the padding right, which gives it to 16 dps all through the left, right, top, and bottom. So it's calling from the context the main activity, which is the Java class, and also we assign an ID to it called main layout. I'm talking about this particular relative layout in question. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now we'll be looking at the text view, where we have the text on it, which is what is gender, and also we're talking about the layout width and height, which is the wrap content, and the layout align parent top is true. The text size is 20 dp. Okay, and also it's taking it from the ID. Gender text, we have the radio group. This is like a form-like approach, because it's going to come out in the form. So we make some selection, make some radio groups, and we also have to strike the enter button. Okay, the Android orientation for this group is horizontal, while the layout is quite below the gender text, and also the Android ID is being assigned gender group. Okay, so we have another radio button. Okay, where it takes a text of female, and that's an ID of female, and once is not checked, so the check is being false at the moment. Okay, another radio button followed afterwards, which also carries the text of male. Okay, and its ID is male and it's not checked, which is false. So we have another radio button which carries the text of order. Okay, from the string order, right? And we assign an ID to it called order, and it's been checked false. Okay, we have the corresponding closing radio group. Now a text view follow, which is what is your age, is like a question, being asked as a text view. All right, the text size is 20 sp from the string, and we assign an ID to it called age text. We'll be using this ID in the course of the Java classes. Okay, and the layout below is quite below the gender group. Okay, we have the gender group, which is the group the radio group. Okay, that's the gender group. Now it's going to stay below it. Okay, that's explicit enough. We have another radio group, chunk of radio group with radio buttons. Okay, this radio group, we give it an ID of age group, so it's going to actually handle the age of the user. Okay, and we have a radio button right inside this radio group, whereby we have a text of 24 years or younger. Okay, and we assign an ID to it called young. So if checked false, it's not going to be checked as initially. All right, another radio group follows, which is trying to categorize the age group of each individual. We have 25 to 54 years, okay, while the ID is middle. All these demographics will be picked up from the analytics, which is going to explain the group of people that actually uh, checks out this pet sampling. All right, we have another radio button, which actually handles for people 55 years or older, calling from the string O. These are older people. All right, we have a closing radio group, and now a text view, which actually explains which pets do you own. That's what that carries. Okay, it has an ID of text view. So the layout below is actually sitting below the age group, which is what we've actually explained earlier. Now there's a linear layout that is orientation is horizontal, while the ID or assigned to it is text view, which is sitting below this particular text view. All right, and the major ID is the pet view. Okay, we have a checkbox that actually has two checkboxes, one for the cat and one for the dog. Okay, so if you actually want a dog, you check on the dog, or if you want a cat, you check on the cat. So the Android checks are false, so there will be empty in the first display of the application. Okay, there's a button now that actually handles the begin of this selection, where we have a text of begin, and the on-click. Oh no, there's an on-click listener to it of begin ID. All right, that's fine. So the center in parent is true, while the align parent bottom tree is true. Okay, this is the major layout we'll be talking about in this application. You can get to look at other layouts, to actually understand what this code is really all about. So let's look at the Java classes. We'll be talking about the main activity. Okay, the main activity of the application. The main activity extends app compat activity, whereby we have some imports. We imported the checkbox and the radio group. These are the activity. These are the widgets that we use right in the XML. So we actually make a reference to them in these Java classes. Okay, we have an onCreate method. We have the super onCreate. We set the content view to the layout activity main I explained earlier. There is a method called begin. So this is going to set the custom dimensions to track gender, age group, and pets owned for the current user. Custom dimensions must first be configured using the Google Analytics web interface. Okay, we'll get there where we'll actually configure our Google Analytics. We get our UID code, our ID from the Google Analytics page. Okay, but let's look at this method. What is it doing? So this guy actually picking on the radio group, based on this gender, and also getting the ID from the gender group. All right. Okay, so if the RG gender which the object created is not equals to null, the my app tracker, this is my app is a class. It's going to call on the tracker method and it's going to set it to based on the CD1, and it's going to get selected gender and pass the app gender its parameter. The same thing applies to the age, and also for the cat. This cat is actually a checkbox, so it's just take a slight tweak, but it's also the same thing with the radio group, while the SB cat is not equals to null. So if this is a nested if statement, if the SB cat is checked, okay, my app tracker is going to set to yes, or else it's going to set to no. All right. So let's look at for the dog. Now we've actually looked what has been assigned to the cat. Now it's for the dog. The same thing applies to the dog, where you created the nested if statement and check, for if it's set, if it's not, if it's set yes, while if it's not, no, for the else statement. Now you're going to start an intent where you're going to call on the instructions class. Okay, that's fine. So we have a method called get selected gender. This is based on the radio group. Now you're going to have a switch statement where it's going to pass the RG gender with declared object and get the checked radio button ID based on its ID. So if the ID is male, the gender will be assigned male, while if the ID is female, the gender will be assigned female, and if the ID is order, the gender will be assigned order. That's just simple to understand. There's another method called get selected age. Okay, the one I explained earlier is get selected gender. Now this is for age, so it's going to also pass the R age and the age check radio button. So and the case is the young. So if the age is young, it breaks it up. While if it's middle, it assigns middle to the age, and you just want to know the kind of age group we're talking about. All right, that's for the main activity. Let's look at the instructions activity. This is an app compat instructions which extends our compat. It calls on the layout activity instructions. This is just going to give these instructions to what's happening, and the intent is going to start up. While this has been starting up, it's going to call on the compare pets. So let's look at the compare pets Java class. Okay, this extends our compat activity. This is where we actually handles the images involved, in this application. We've actually stored them in the drawable, where we have the cat images. We have up to like 5 to 6 cat images right here, and also we have for dogs as well. So we're going to create a private field called qtest, okay, and index as well. Now we have an onCreate method where we set a content view to the layout of activity compare pets. Now we pass in some bundle extras, we get the intent and we get the extras. So if the extras equals to null, the qtest equals to 0, and the index equals to 1. Else, it's going to what we have from the bundle we've gotten some extras where we're going to pass on to the qtest pet as a string, and also an integer which from the ID is 0, which is the index, and also we get the integer of the pet index by 1. Now we're going to do the image view IVQtest. We're going to cast in the image view to the ID of the image view. So if the IVQtest is not equals to null, it's going to set the image resources. That's when the image is going to be displayed. The same thing with the candidate. Now there's a select method where we instantiate the intent. Now we have a string called image label. Okay, so if the view get ID, when you get the ID of the view equals to the particular image in question, the intent is going to put the extra, going to put the qtest pet, and the label is going to follow suit, where it's going to get its resources and get its resources name. Else, okay, the intent is going to put extra, it's going to get its image label, get the resources, get the resources name, and the image is based on its index, not on the qtest this time. Okay. We have the it builder, which calls on the event builder, which instantiates with a new keyword called it builder. So this event builder object is going to set the action for the vote. So it's going to set the category for the image, and also we're going to set its value, set its label, and the my app class, which is the object of the my app class. We're going to call on the tracker and send the event builder. Okay. This is just the same thing with the intent. We're going to put extra from the bundle. We're going to get the pet index, and it's going to continue to add it. There's like an iteration +1. So it's going to keep records to each selected. The ones the pets you select most will be the final selection for you. So that's just what that is just trying to do here. Okay. Without much ado, I would like you to go through the source code yourself. Because of time and because of this tutorial. Okay, and I would like to also show you the screencast of this application, because you actually need Google Play service, so it is better off to actually install this and test this in a real device. Alright, I'll be going straight to the screencast of this application. Okay, this is the main activity of the application, call it from the activity main as well, where I told you about the form-like approach. So we have the radio group, and also the text view. What is your gender? So you're actually going to pick the gender. So I actually pick male. Okay, the age group 25 to 54 years, while I actually pick dogs. So let's look at the second activity. Okay, the first activity will actually is like an empty because you should actually set the clickable to false. All right. So followed by the second one where I made selections on the form. Now the third one is going to you will be shown a series of image pairs comparing to pets. Tap on the pet you think is cuter. Okay, you have to type on this button called got it for you to start selecting different pets you've seen. So you start seeing images of pets. So if you continue to pick one and it continues to show, now if you notice this first pet is being clicked, so that enables it to show back here, and this picks up from the second array. So it continues that way. I pick the second one, so that made that showed here. So another one is being compared with it. Continued. Another one is being compared with it. Now I have to pick this as the last selection because this is the last selection which has been chosen. So with that, I had my pet. Thank you for our answers. Here's your top pet. Now all these selections and all these things would have been picked up, from with the Google Analytics. Before I close up, I would like to show you where the source code of the Google Analytics is being added. It's been added in my app Java class, which I was talking earlier, which we actually instantiated and created an object from it. Okay, if you should notice this class, it extends application. You have a fee called Google Analytics based on giving an object called Analytics, and also its tracker. Now, I'd like you to look at a method called onCreate method, where you have the super onCreate. You have the analytics here, okay, and the Google Analytics will get the instance. So here you're going to replace the tracker ID with your app one from the http google.com/analytics/web. So this is where you're going to add your tracker ID. You create this from the Google Analytics dashboard. I'll show you that quickly. Where you get your Google Analytics dashboard. All right. This is the dashboard of the admin section of the Google Analytics. When I go to home, you get to see the list of analytics trackers that I have created in this account. Okay, I have several ones, but this is the major one I used, based on the mobile edition. You have to create the analytics on the mobile edition. This drop down will actually give you the list of all your analytics you have. But if you want to create one, you go to the admin section. Okay, you click on this drop down. You create your new Google tracker. So once you click on this, it's going to issue you to different modes where you're going to pick mobile. You're going to pick mobile and specialize point on the Android version. So with this, you get your tracker ID and you get your dashboard set up for full integration, just like this. So this is the analytics integration that I have for all mobile app, and I actually use this particular ID in this session of the new tracker analytics. Okay, I think that's explicit enough. If you're finding a problem of how to actually create your Google Analytics ID, you can just leave a comment. I'll put you through, and I have a video right before this on how to actually integrate Google Analytics into just a simple application. But this is a more robust application, and it's a more robust approach where you're going to get different age group, age, gender, demographic. You're going to get more data analysis from this kind of application than the previous one. That's just the difference. So you can go through that at first, because I explain in details on how to get your dashboard ready and how to get your UID, which is the ID of your Google Analytics, and how to extract it for the mobile version. But this is more advanced aspect where I have a full-blown application that gets more data in question, more demographic to sort out, and it's going to actually call back more to the Google Analytics dashboard. Thank you very much for listening, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful time, and do stay blessed. Bye bye.